and welcome again to another episode of Couch Therapy. Dave Trippin. Big changes, thus the title. Been away for a little while for this reason, actually, although I have been filming in the meantime. So I'll have something coming out for Saturday, which will be this cool tour of the YouTube Hanami, as well as I went to Meguro Canal, cool stuff like that. But what's the big news? What's going on? What does it mean for my life? That is that, like it says, I've switched jobs. So whereas before, actually for the past 4 years in Japan, aside from the rarest of instances, I would teach in a junior high school, which I really enjoyed. I actually spent 3 of those years at the same 2 schools, which was really cool because when you stay for longer like that, you develop relationships. That's the long and short of it. It's like when you go to a place and you're only there for a year, as much as you really will have an amazing experience in that time, it's impossible to get the same amount of depth that simply comes with time. So I really like it. That's kind of a sad note, actually, where I love the relationships that I was building at the new school that I had then gone to with the new job, and have had to change. But I almost look at this, it's a funny thing where I preach a lot on the channel, if you want to call it that, about being adaptive and as well kind of like accepting the good with the bad, rolling with the punches, if you will. And now it's time for me to kind of practice what I preach, because what's happened was I've been thrown out of my element. I've been moved from a junior high school, and I'm now, for the first time since I've been in Japan, I'm going to be teaching in an elementary school. And I don't mean whenever, I want to talk as well, I want to clarify a little bit when I say that people should kind of see the light in the dark. I don't mean an eradication of negativity. It's more that these negative things are entirely that. They can be negative. You accept that, but then you allow them, you let them go. It's basically a way of like, the way that I see it is that if something is wrong, it doesn't mean the sky's falling. And I'll try and find different ways and videos to come to say this, where it's like I used to have issues before where I felt like if something was negative in my life, that it was like there was a tear in the fabric of reality, that something was fundamentally wrong. And it caused a lot of anxiousness, where now if something's wrong, all it means is it sucks. It doesn't mean that you've gone horribly awry. It doesn't mean that you'll never see a good day. It just means that something kind of sucks. And then if you let it go, if you don't dwell on that, then it allows more positive things to happen more quickly, or if you to be able to be aware of them, basically. That when something good happens, you're not still clouded by the fact that you had to deal with something difficult. Which I've had a few difficult things recently. In fact, I made the video that was sort of a downer, although I was trying to put that spin on it, talking about how I'd been shut down by the university that I'd applied to for the master's degree. So yeah, when I talk about this, it's never to say that you eradicate negativity in your life, but it's to be patient with it. And that adds depth to whatever other positive things that you're dealing with. So, that said, moving to an elementary school now is a huge change, and I've tried to have absolute transparency with this as well on my channel when I talk about the different jobs that you can have in the sort of like junior high school versus elementary school. You have, in an elementary school, a much larger role, 9 times out of 10, where in a junior high school, you are very much an assistant. You are in there, and these teachers often speak excellent English, and you are there, you're not standing at the back of the class doing nothing, but they're leading everything, they're designing all the lessons, and you are to support, whether that's you're doing vocabulary or marking tests or testing some sort of conversation with the kids. But I really liked it, the lazy side of me, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, that I didn't have to plan lessons so much, and truth be told, that you basically relied on the homeroom teacher, unless specifically asked, in which case I would, unless specifically asked, they would design the lessons. I did have a few times, but a few only that I would be designing or contributing a significant amount of materials aside from support. Now that's all about to change when I go to elementary school, big time, where every single lesson, every single activity is led by you. Now, the Japanese school system is moving more towards having the homeroom teachers in elementary school take on a leadership role because they simply want them to be more prominent. They want them, well, it grows from the fact that, just generally speaking, in the Japanese public school curriculum, in the lower grades, they're making English more of a focus, and if they're going to do that, they want the homeroom teachers more involved. For example, they didn't always teach from the Ichinensei to Yonensei, or grades 1 to 4, whereas now that's going to be included, and they're starting younger, they're doing more demanding things, all this kind of stuff. So, at first, I went through all the stages. I went through denial, hatred, anger, rebirth. But I really did, although I feel like now I've experienced things like this enough, and like I said, it came time where I got to practice what I preach. I was like, if I suggest to people, be open-minded, suck up the kind of negative, don't say that it's not negative, because I was bummed out. I was like, oh, I got to leave all these good relationships behind that I was growing, and arguably this is going to be much more challenging. But now that I've moved past that, I'm really, really excited because, let me tell you the reasons why this could be much better for myself. Or for you, if you end up being an elementary school teacher. One, it's easy to argue that you simply become a more confident, better teacher because you are leading and creating more of the materials for the classes that you have. So, I'm gonna become a better teacher, whether that's kicking or screaming, or that I really embrace the challenge. There's no way around it. When you lead more, you become better. So you naturally become a better teacher. Now, I've talked recently about, I want to improve my Japanese, and I dedicate a lot of time to it, and I felt good actually going into this school because I was like, yeah, I'm speaking a little bit more. Of course, yeah, I'm definitely improved from when I first arrived in Japan. But a big thing in junior high school is because you have this higher level of English, that it's easier for you to rest on your laurels. It's easier for you to fall into a rut where the English teachers speak such good English there that unless you're incredibly proactive, that you'll find you're speaking very little Japanese in a junior high school. And I feel I shouldn't have to tell people, but again, this isn't the rule. Some people speak more, some people speak less, but generally speaking, you're going to speak a lot less Japanese in a junior high school, where I can tell already the level of English, as you would expect, is much lower in an elementary school. And so if your desire is to improve on your Japanese, that's a real big benefit in elementary school. Nobody's going to coddle you. They're going to feel much more comfortable, and they're going to expect in many more cases that you would speak Japanese to them because they don't simply have that level, nor would they be expected to. So my Japanese has all this potential to get much better. I have the potential to become a much, much better teacher because of the leadership role that I'm going to take on as a result of being there. And I think there's something cool, one more little detail before I'll shut this whole thing down, is that when you go into an elementary school, the age group of the people there is naturally a little bit younger. So you have the energy of the students, love it or hate it, which is very high, and then to kind of cope with the energy of those students, you have much younger people that are working in the school, and there is this vitality that I find in the elementary schools, because I got a little bit of it before when I used to substitute on the occasional day, and I was like, wow, there's this totally different, really cool, strong, youthful energy in the school. So I'm looking forward to the energy. I'm looking forward to the language. I'm looking forward to becoming a better teacher. But full disclosure, there was that human part of me that went kicking and screaming from my comfortable place. But how could I look you guys in the face and talk about how you need to roll with this kind of thing and how you should expect this kind of thing to be able to, you know, stay sane without kind of embracing the challenge myself. So that's what I'm doing. I'm attempting to embrace it. Maybe we'll see that kind of like funny, you know, ship's log degrading of my like overall mental state in the next year as I work with these kids. Like, oh, it's day 320 and I'm losing it. I hope not. I hope not. I'll do everything in my power to prevent that. Okay, so that is the big change. Junior high school, 4 years. An epic chapter has concluded. I am now going into elementary school with eyes wide open, excited for the challenge. And I think, in fact, I know, as with all things, that I'll be looking back a year from now, once you've moved past the sort of difficult transitional change is hard, that I'll look at this as I couldn't have imagined that life would have gone any other way. And I hope that you, rolling with it, allowing life to flow, will also find this in your experience in Japan or wherever else you are, for that matter. Okay, cool. So if you like the video, please give a thumbs up. Why don't you subscribe to catch more videos like this and for other cool stuff in and around Japan? Follow me on all the social media down below that I would have flashed for different snapshots of Japan, cool pictures on Instagram. I'm doing more live streams on that for people who have questions. So if you want to get some live questions, I will randomly live stream on there. That's a good place to follow me for live streams, is on Instagram. Check out the other videos on the channel. Why don't you cruise around for a little bit, get to know the place. For everybody who tunes in regularly, you know that I'm incredibly grateful for that. I really am. It's what keeps the channel growing. It's what keeps the channel alive. And without you, I'd be talking to a camera alone. I am doing that, but more alone than I am now. All right, catch you guys in the next video. Peace.